because Peter Bleksley, former Scotland Yard detective, joins me. Good morning, Peter.
Good morning.
Here we are again, talking about knife crime. You and I talk about knife crime all the time. This young girl was just 15 years old. She had an argument. Well, she turned down the flowers from a young man, a child. This spiralled out of control on the bus. Then there was this huge incident. She's dead. This knife crime is out of control.
Tragically, yes, it is. And something quite dramatic needs to be done. But if we look at police leadership for the last 20 years or so, they have been completely deluded in their fluffy, liberal, woke, university-educated minds into thinking that the police need to be popular. So they trail lines like community engagement repeatedly, and they endeavour to reach out to Uncle, every Tom Cobley and all, in an effort to be popular. The harsh fact of the matter is, the streets, the country, needs to be a hostile environment for criminals. And the police need to be unpopular with criminals. The more unpopular the police are with criminals, the more popular they will become with the law-abiding public. School children who see police officers taking knives off of other school children and arresting them will be very popular with teachers, parents and law-abiding kids.
I couldn't agree more. She is the 16th teenager to be murdered in London this year. Also, we saw in Bradford this armed police swarming Bradford city centre. There was a mass brawl, all of these young people getting together, hurling stuff at police cars, causing utter mayhem. We saw armed police actually running away from the situation as it turned out of control. We saw them chasing one of the big BMW X5s as well. These are young people wearing hoodies and masks. They believe that they're anonymous and they believe they can get away with it. And the reason they think that is because they can.
And the law-abiding people of Bradford close their doors, shut their windows and live in fear. When they see the police with shields, batons, full public order gear, put down that kind of disorder in a proportionate but firm way, then lo and behold, the police will become popular with those who abide by the laws of the land. And the police will become increasingly unpopular and feared by those who currently act with impunity. Hood up, fists up, knives out, and there is simply not enough of a robust response to all of this.
So that's really interesting. In terms of, we say that people are losing faith in the police, it's more the fact that we're losing faith in the police's performance.
Yes, because the police actually turned their backs on the crimes that affect the moderate majority of the nation: burglary, theft of phones, theft of bikes, and I know you've been talking about that this morning, house burglary, car theft and the like. The police turned their backs on those. They didn't investigate them because they'd convinced themselves they didn't have the resources to do that. And consequently, the public trust began to erode. Then, when we discovered that there were utter monsters within the policing ranks who committed the most abominable of crimes, of course, the trust tanked further. But if the police would move away from so fluffily trying to be everybody's friend and became a strident, robust enemy of the lawbreakers, those who abide by the laws would suddenly regain trust and confidence in them.
So on that note, I've had a message that says the police lost credibility when they renamed themselves a service. They dropped the force. Is there truth in that?
There absolutely is, and it was all part of the liberalisation of policing. This was an idea from some bright spark who'd gone to university and was climbing the greasy pole of promotion, and all of a sudden climbed another rank because of this idea. People would actually like the police to be more forceful with lawbreakers, those who actually go to work very hard, raise their children in the correct and proper manner, put food on the table, save their money wherever they can, and abide by the law, actually want the police to be firm with those who break the law, and they would like the police to be supported in our courts, who have got ever more liberal in recent times.
Yeah, and also, just on that, you said that, you know, some bright spark coming from college. This is from Terry in Ramsbottom, saying in the past, in the 60s and 70s, most police officers were ex-servicemen. Nowadays, most police have come straight from college. That reiterates your sentiment.
Well, there was a smattering of ex-servicemen in the police service when I served in the 70s, 80s and 90s. And don't think for a moment that I'm some kind of dinosaur. I know I come from a past policing age, and not all policing was good in my time. But what was good was that the streets were a hostile environment for criminals, and they need to become that once again.
And just in terms of that, so we've identified the problem. What needs to happen? We've heard people like Sir Mark Rowley saying he will deal with this. He is rooting out the bad officers. He is going to make this a much better police service. We're talking about the Met here. What needs to change?
The police need to abandon all this, quite frankly, pointless community engagement, which is a waste of time, and they need to focus on two communities, and two communities only. The first community, victims of crime. Give them a service, give them an investigation, be prompt, professional, polite, and find out who did it. And on that very note, the second community they should engage with is the perpetrators of crime. Take their front doors off the hinges, put them in handcuffs, and when you've gathered the evidence, make sure the CPS charge them. That's what needs to be done. It's policing in its very core is quite simple. There are complexities within it, but these liberal, fluffy, woke police leaders of recent times have overcomplicated it by trying to be everybody's friend.
Do you think it will change?
Well, I'm not overly confident, because senior police leadership promote people that they see a mirror image of. Anybody who tries to challenge the status quo suddenly finds that their career has come to a grinding halt. There is nepotism, it is rife. They promote and surround themselves with those who have the same nonsense ideology as they do, so it may not change for some time. There is perhaps some optimism. There is a chief constable at Manchester who appears to have a slightly more robust attitude than his predecessors. I hope, of course, I'm an optimistic sort of bloke, but when it comes to senior police leadership, which really is rotten in many regards, I'm not that hopeful.
Peter, great to talk to you. Thank you very much.